What's up guys, my name is Elden. Welcome back to another art video. Today's art video is going to be a little bit different. It's actually going to be on this box. What's in this box? Only one way to find out. Alright, let's see. Alright guys, to start this off, we're going to need a couple things. One being this box, and the other one being this knife. Alright, let's open it. Alright, and inside this box is actually just one item over and over again. It is spare nibs for the Copic Multiliner. Let's see if it will autofocus. Yeah, Copic Multiliner spare nibs 0.35. These are the nibs that I use for my Copic pen, which is actually going to be the main focus of this video. You thought it was just gonna be what's in the box. I got you. See if it focus. To start this out, let's talk about the comfort and everyday use of this pen. The Copic Multiliner pens are just as comfortable as any other inking pen. While it is a bit thicker than most pens like micron pens, you'll hardly notice the difference. See, it's a little bit thicker than your average micron pen, and that's mainly because it's by a different company. I can see this one is a little bit wider in diameter than the other one. The one thing you will notice though is the texture / feel while holding this pen. It is different than most pens, which give it a higher quality type feeling. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by a higher quality type feeling, I'm talking about the casing that holds the pen together. It isn't cheap plastic. It isn't a cheap plasticky kind of feeling like, let's say, a micron pen has. Not bashing the micron pen, just using an example, and most other pens also seem to have. And due to it having a more metallic type feeling, it comes off as a more premium type of pen, giving you a sense of, holy this is some top-notch stuff right here. It's so and due to that feeling, when you're constantly using it, it feels like you're going to create great things, whether that's true or not. Now, with this said, there's a trade-off to having a more premium type of casing to this Copic Multiliner pen, and that is, it is slightly different in weight. Honestly, most people will not be able to tell, only if you're interchanging these pens every so now and again. This is a lot lighter due to the material that's used. It's light plastic, nothing much going inside. And this is a bit heavier because of everything that's going on inside of here. It has interchangeable nibs, interchangeable ink cartridges, which makes it a little bit heavier, and just the overall quality is a little bit better, also making it a little bit heavier. So with that said, even though it doesn't really make that much of a difference, it might be a slight discomfort to some people, and they'll have to get used to it when they're using it. Other than that little tidbit, there isn't anything really one can complain when using this pen. So now to the next one. Let's talk about the style of this Copic Multiliner. Now, admittedly, there isn't much to comment about the style of this pen other than it's a nicely designed pen. It's very minimalistic. Let me try getting it focused. It's very minimalistic. By that I mean it doesn't have any excessive text produced on this pen or printed on this pen. It only contains the brand names, the size of the nib, and the usage of the pen in one central area on the pen itself, while the opposite side contains the company name and the barcode in which you use to purchase this pen. There is no text between these labels, giving it a spacious feeling on such a small pen. Just by looking at this pen, you could tell that there was a lot of thought produced in this pen, that how they wanted to present the product. Unlike the Micron pens. I will say there was probably thought to produce this product, but it's not as clean as the Copic marker or Copic Multiliner. As you can see, if it will focus, this Micron pen does have like the same kind of text, but it has a lot more branding all around the pen, a lot more lettering, so the entire thing is encompassed with ink and print and stuff. And for some reason, it's like always a little bit slanted, or it might be just me, but it seems like they mass produce these fairly quickly. There's a purple line over here. That purple line seems like it is like slightly slanted. Now, again, I'm not bashing it, I'm just using it as a reference because this is one of the more popular inking type pens. Out the way, let's talk about the ink flow of the pen. As one would tend to believe, the quality of the case and such, the pen must be of good stature itself, and that would be true. The pen, when first used, has a constant flow, making inking and doing line arts a breeze. The ink comes out of the pen evenly, with a nice even flow for short lines, but when one does a longer line, it does become a little bit inconsistent. But with that said, for those that do quick lines and use the scratch method for drawing, there isn't much to complain about, since the scratch method is short lines, but repetitive short lines, so you don't have to worry about the ink flow getting inconsistent as you do a really long line. Now that we are done talking about ink flow, and its pros and cons, let's talk about the pen's longevity. The longevity of this pen is pretty basic. After a week of constantly using this pen on a daily basis, one will notice the ink flow will slowly begin to diminish, just like any other pen. But with that said, I was using this on a 11 by 14 paper with a lot of lines and a lot of like going over the piece over and over again, and it's pretty good, to be honest. And it was on a daily basis, and within that one day I would be doing about 5 pages or so of just inking with this pen solely. So by itself, only this pen, inking those pages, it lasted for a week, and that's really, really well. Like for a Micron, it might last for me, when I buy my Microns, they usually last for half that time if I'm doing constant work with them. So I've only had to change out this ink cartridge once, so this is the second ink cartridge, and I've had this for a couple months now. And I haven't had to change the nibs yet. I just bought them. So the best way to get more out of the pen is to let it sit for a bit so the nib can soak up more ink, then continue to draw and continue to repeat that process until the ink cartridge is all dried out. And then you can just switch out the ink cartridge, or even if the nib gets too messed up for your taste, you can just switch them out. They aren't really expensive, they're relatively cheap, so you can just get a couple of them at once. Now this leads me to the conclusion of this review. In the end, the pen is just like any other pen that happens to have a more premium look and feel to it. The ink flow is nice, but with all pens it will slowly diminish with prolonged use. One thing I didn't really touch upon is that it is waterproof and Copic proof, which is a nice plus, meaning that if you happen to have like a water-based type of marker, it won't smear it, and same with Copics, it won't smear it because it is a water and Copic proof type of marker, which is really helpful when you're doing coloring and whatnot. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know this content is a bit different than what I usually put on this channel, but it is still art related, so I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions about the pen or whatnot, And feel free to ask me below. Also, feel free to comment below on on what type of product you want me to review in the future. If I have it on hand, I will get it. If I don't have it on hand, it might take me a bit to get it. If you want to check out my comic that I create, it is on my official website, ScionXAwakening.com, on Tapas and on Webtoon, the exact same name, Scion X Awakening. It will be down in the description below. Alright, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!